back to the Gulf Coast Growth Show. I'm your host, Jason Lee, and my co-host,
Zeke Smith.
And we are glad
up,
to be back. 2026,
Yes,
the year of
the
excitement.
The year of the horse.
Yeah,
it is.
So, and ironically, we have a Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo person with us today.
That's right.
It's the year of the horse. We're kicking it off the right way. We're joined by Tara Wilson, the founder of Eventsia Group, and she's the vice chair of industry outreach with the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo's Industrial Craft Competition.
Look at you, buddy. Right back
out the
like
gate.
you never left.
That wasn't easy.
And so excited to be here today. Couldn't be more fired up. Tara, we're excited to have you talking about the craft competition. I think the premise of the show today is really just to help shed some light on it. I think sometimes people get wrapped up in the shows, all the stuff going on, the rodeo, the carnival, and I think people lose sight of what it's all really about. Right. And why and how it originated and how we got here. But and so we're going to talk about that today, just as a little refresher. And so Before we dive in, though, tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your background, and then how you got into what you're doing with the rodeo.
Okay. Grew up in Beaumont. My family was always in industrial construction. Moved here and got into this industry and just absolutely love it. I've spent the last 30 years in and around engineering, construction, in petrochem, and my business went that way. So I do conferences, trade shows in that industry, and through that came across the industrial craft competition.
Nice.
It's part of the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, but fairly new committee, partly because the rodeo historically has focused on four-year degrees for most of the money that they give to students, and there was a concerted effort to start developing vocational opportunities. So that's one of the reasons that this was developed, and really one of the most exciting things to see students who go through this and when they graduate from high school go directly into industry.
How amazing is it that somebody who's already, I don't know, just the fact that you but you happen to probably be involved in the land in a position where you have this event planning deal and the skill set to land right in a place where you also have this experience with industry in and of itself. That's pretty cool how it all.
It is, and the opportunity came along, and I said, "Sure, I'll help."
Yeah,
but now I'm knee deep in it. And
I
just absolutely love it. I can't talk about it enough.
That's fantastic. Okay, fantastic.
Give me some background on the competition itself. How long it's been around? Who kind of helped start? Obviously, you have been involved since the early days, and it's grown. That's certainly more awareness than there used to be. But can you give us a little background on the competition itself?
Sure. It was launched about 7 years ago, and it originated from some of the folks who were doing ag mechanics. So ag mechanics is a similar type of a program, competition, but obviously geared toward that industry. So J.D. Slaughter, S&B, he and some other folks really decided that this was important. I know that he and his company have always spent a lot of energy on recruiting and training vocations. And I know as long as I've been in this industry, the conversation has always been there's not enough craft.
That's right.
Yeah. The craft workforce isn't there. And yet you've got a lot of kids who are ready to work when they come out of high school. And, part of this is communicating that craft is a really good career.
Right.
It's not because I'm not doing something else.
Absolutely.
It's a wonderful place to land and a wonderful place to make a career.
Yeah, and the thing that I'm seeing is the rest of the world gets more and more afraid of being replaced by robots and AI and all this other stuff. You just can't replace craft people. Like you're going to have people in there to go out there and do the work and get some of the stuff done and do the heavy lifting. And
Absolutely.
And there's huge opportunity in it. So really cool that this stuff's starting to really catch fire in the area. And then to compound that with the rodeo is even better. Give us some background. So when you started 7 years ago, walk us through, do you have any stats that you could share about the growth, like where you started and kind of how you guys are doing now?
Yeah. So obviously it's kind of ramped up, but about 2,500 kids have gone through the program to date.
That's crazy.
We try to follow those kids and see who's getting jobs right out of high school. And it's a little hard. But, last year, 55 kids got a job directly from being involved in the craft competition.
What?
So that's
That's so
that's
cool.
the whole point of it. You
Like the
know?
NFL Combine, man. There's people there
Yeah,
scouting.
it's
watching
the yeah, exactly.
watching these stud
Yeah.
kids do their thing. And it's grown through school district, right? So the committee's
Absolutely.
attracting different school districts from a pretty wide area. I mean, there's some like I think El Campo, even there's some folks that are far reaching from Houston that are still involved, right?
Mm.
So it is. I mean, it is definitely expanding
Or Santa Fe, I think it was.
out to Ingleside.
Okay.
Yeah, down in Corpus.
Yep.
We've got Nederland and
Yeah.
Port Arthur and some schools there. But I would say that really the concentration is closer in. But lots of schools in this area. In fact, Pearland was grand champion last year.
Really?
And they have a killer team. They do really well every year.
Wow.
So
I'm rooting for my alma mater, Goose Creek.
Goose Creek?
Yeah, that's
ISD's
what
in
I'm Baytown
there?
boy. Yeah,
There you go.
Yeah, they've been in there a couple of years, so rooting for them. What are if you know, and I'm not trying to quiz you, what are all the crafts that they do? Do you know mostly what the crafts what they're competing at?
So what happens, there are two competitions. For the team competition, which is where the schools sign up, we drop off a huge amount of material in September
Mhm.
and plans, and they have to build this spec
Mhm.
built plan. It alternates from a pipe skid one year, and then it goes to a huge barbecue pit the next year. So that's what's this year. They're doing a big smoker
Wow.
and barbecue pit. So in the team competition, they really have to manage the entire project. So somebody's a project manager. Someone has to
Got
do
it.
project controls. Somebody does
Wow.
safety. And then there are all the fabrication. So there's a lot of welding and pipe fitting
Right.
in that process. But then they're judged on all of those things. So the skids or pits, the finished product, come to the rodeo about a week before. And so we'll have judges go out and do the technical judging, and they're looking at every weld and everything. And in the top tier, they're actually doing electrical too.
Wow.
So
Wow.
That's
So-
crazy. It just blows my mind. These are kids. Like,
Oh, they're kids.
I'd like to volunteer to
Literally.
be donated one of these light up pits when they're done. I'll take that to the house if I could.
there you go. It's pretty pretty big.
17-year-old, 16-year-old welders,
Yeah.
I'm having a hard time changing air filters at the house.
Well-
Like,
this is hard.
yeah.
I'll tell you one of the things I like most about that competition day. So they do safety, they do some other things. They do project controls, judging leading up to our competition day, which is
Right.
March 7th. And for that, they have to go in and do a live presentation to a panel of industry experts, which is incredibly intimidating for a
For
lot
sure.
of these
Can you
kids. A lot
imagine?
of these kids have
Yeah.
not. And they're extraordinary. And every once in a while, there will be a kid who kind of freezes up because it's a scary thing. But I've just seen how tight as a team these kids are. And, someone will say, oh, you know what he did? It was really good. He did this one, and it's just, I think it's such a good lesson in not only the technical parts of this, but they've got deadlines. They've got to go through all the material sheets and figure out if they're missing something. I mean, it's all on them.
That's wild.
I mean, and the rodeo, like to win at the rodeo, all these kids, it's a huge deal.
Can you
Everyone's known
imagine?
about the rodeo their whole
Yeah.
life. And so to win
Yeah.
something there is.
Grew up mud
Absolutely.
busting, and then
That's right. That's right.
That's right. Yeah,
That's right. That's
yeah.
right.
You're
That's right.
you're winning. You're building barbecue pits, and you're the man.
Well, it's probably, I assume it may be a little late now since we're kind of into getting into the rodeo season, but maybe not. Is there anything the industry can do? So, I mean, the audience, we have, 12 or 13 listeners to our podcast. So
Yeah.
if there's anybody that wants to, individual or company, organization wants to get involved, what does this committee need from industry?
Constantly any support from industry. So, of course, cash and in-kind gifts help us. It's about $10,000 per school to fund these
So
projects.
sponsorship.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sponsorship's great, but we need mentors. Every school has mentors going out during the life of that project.
Okay.
So, we need safe people who are safety. We need project controls. We need
Okay.
people who can be mentors for the fabrication
The
part
crafts.
of it.
Right.
Nice.
So they're going into the schools, and depending on the school, they need more or less help. So some of these schools have incredible shops. I mean, their
Right.
CTE program
Infrastructure
is like
around 'em.
professional.
Sure.
Some don't. Some really don't have a shop teacher who has a lot of experience. They all want to try. So it really depends. And then when we get to the competition time, then it's judging. We need people to do all those parts of the judging process and the live judging. And that's really important because these kids are having a conversation with somebody who potentially is their future
That's right.
boss.
A hiring manager. That's right. That's right.
Absolutely. There is one other competition we do after the rodeo. We call it the live competition. We're going to have to come up with a better name for that.
This is
It
in
is
April,
live.
right? It's in April, I think, right?
It's in April. So it's
Okay.
April 18th. It's at Texas State Technical College.
Okay.
And this is an individual competition. So students come out. We had about 120 last year, I think. And they do pipe welding, structural welding, or pipe fitting. So they come, same kind of thing. They've got a design there, and they have to weld to spec or do the pipe fitting. And so we've got industry folks who are out there helping judge that. But the cool thing is we have what we call the contractor corral. So companies can come and put up a table in a tent, and these kids are there all day because, they do their piece and then they're waiting everyone's waiting for
Okay.
the end for the awards.
Right.
And they get to go and talk to all these companies, and I won't say who it is, but there are a couple of companies who load up on kids every year.
Of course.
I mean,
that's
it's-
a hiring event.
It absolutely is. And, a lot of these kids don't really understand what the industry is. So even to have that ability to have a conversation
Sure.
with someone in industry and say, how do I get started? I mean, clearly you're not going to start at the top of the rung, which I keep trying to tell my kids. You're not supposed to love your first job. But you...
Sage advice.
Sage advice, yeah.
Sage advice from Stara.
But that this is an opportunity for them. They don't have a huge network. They don't have a million connections.
Yeah.
So
right.
it's really a neat way. So in terms of, there are ways to get involved that are volunteering. There obviously money helps, but there are so many other ways. I think the mentoring is one of the most valuable, though. Again, to have somebody who's willing to kind of go into the schools and
Nice.
a couple times a month.
Right. In past years, I've heard that was kind of the biggest need is like more and more mentors. Can't have enough, I'm sure. Right?
Absolutely
Right.
not. And
And
we're
as the
actually
competition grows.
recruiting
Right.
for next year now.
Okay.
Okay.
Wow.
So
Where do you do most of your recruiting? Is it through the rodeo populace, or do you guys reach out cold to the industry in and of itself?
we really are reaching out to industry because the rodeo population itself is wonderful, but it doesn't necessarily represent the industrial community.
Understood. Got
So,
it. Yeah.
as many of us who have a network are going out and really trying to recruit, trying to talk about it, really trying to tell the story, because we've figured out once we can tell that story,
Mhm.
it sells itself.
Absolutely it
People
does.
really want to get involved.
Absolutely it does.
Yeah.
If for anybody that can't, Jason and I will probably can give $1 each, probably donated, based on this podcast salary, but for the public. So these final products come in about a week before the rodeo starts. So when you go to the rodeo, you're able to, the public, if you're there, you're able to see this stuff?
You will see 21 projects.
Okay.
They're all in the NRG arena.
Okay.
So you can walk around and see them all. And if you come after March 7th, you'll see the ribbons. So you'll see who
won. Okay.
what. So
So
they
cool.
are, each category they're judged in, then there's a grand champion.
So
Wow.
the 21, that's all school districts. So it's not
It's school
schools.
district.
It's all
one
school.
school per district.
One school per district, but it is
district,
21
right.
different districts.
It's 21
That's
different
incredible.
That's crazy.
It
That's
started with like
a handful.
Yeah, 5 or 6, I
Yeah,
think. So
yeah.
that's incredible.
That's insane.
right.
yeah.
And different tiers, I think, based on size or how they want to compete.
Right. So there are 2 tiers.
Okay.
And that developed because, again, some of these schools were competing every year and sort of winning every year because they have very sophisticated
Right.
shops. And so the idea was to maybe do something a little less complicated so that that group of people,
Sure.
those groups of kids can.
Well, keep them
Be in the
engaged.
running.
You're right. Keep them engaged, right?
And I'm sorry, I wanted to go back to real quick the how people get involved, because we were talking about the
Mentoring.
going out and finding the mentors and
right.
stuff, right? So if someone was listening to the show and then they say, okay, we do want to get involved, is it that your committee will go out and talk to them about how they can get it set up? Like when they are setting up mentors, is it a complex process?
Not at all.
Is it something that that person does directly with the school, or do they have to work through the committee and then the committee gets them plugged into the school? And
Yeah.
I'm
So
just a little bit of light as to how hard it is. So if people are like, oh, it sounds like it'd be great, but I don't know if we have time. Like, what's
It's not
the
hard.
what's the process?
So they just need to reach out to us and say, I'm interested in getting involved. And one of us will call them and talk through it and talk about the commitments for the different ways that they can get involved. And
Got it.
if somebody says, yeah, I want to, we always try to find a school, assign them to a school that's close to home or work.
Okay, gotcha.
So we're not going to ask, somebody who lives in Nederland to come out to Deer Park or vice versa.
Gotcha.
So, and that's really been a lot of the way it's grown
Mm-hmm.
and kind of the constraint about it growing. When we had Ingleside in Corpus, fortunately we did have people that were in that area, but we just don't necessarily have the capacity for mentors in a lot of areas where there is
Sure.
industrial construction and industry locations where people are working.
Understood. Gotcha. And then last question around awareness. Is this something that if I had questions and we'll get your contact information, share it with the audience, but is this on, like when I go look, I've always gone to the rodeo and looked at events and looked at it from where do I get my
Jason's
tickets?
really excited about Creed being at the rodeo this year.
Can't wait.
He's super excited.
Yeah. Can you take me higher? That being said, if we were to, if I go to the website's page, am I going to be able to click on there and find the industrial competition and the details and all that stuff?
Yeah, so you have to just find the area that says judging and contests.
Okay, gotcha.
And it's under
Okay,
there.
awesome.
I think it's like 2 exhibitions, and you got to dig, but you can find it.
Got to dig a little.
I have
okay.
faith in you.
And
Understand.
real quick on the committee itself.
Mhm.
If people want to get involved in the committee, I know that committee's grown too.
Absolutely.
From what I understand, I know several folks on it that are just absolutely love it and are highly engaged. But if someone was like, I want to get involved with that committee, how do I do it? What's the steps there?
Same thing, reach out. There
Okay.
is an area on the radio website that is volunteer
Okay.
interest, where you can say, yes, I'm interested in do that. And you can
Mhm.
pick the committee you want to, and then that comes to us. But they can reach out to somebody on the committee. I'm happy to talk to them.
Okay.
And just for clarification, anyone who does sign up to be a mentor is a committee member.
Oh, okay.
So they still are going to get all the benefits of
Oh, nice.
being on the committee and their badge and all that, which is
Sweet.
real important to a lot of
Absolutely. Yeah. The
Yeah.
rodeo
Gets you
badge
in.
is gold these
It
days.
is.
Exactly. That's a huge deal. Before we pivot, let's talk a little bit about yourself and some of the things you've done. I mean, obviously you're having success. We like to use this show as a platform to share best practices for other people. And so, what would you say has helped? You've got to be a natural connector to be able to come in and do the things that you're doing. So what's led to some of the success, both in your business, but then that allow for you to be somebody who people reached out to you and said, hey, we think you're the perfect person for this job. What do you think kind of led to that?
I think first of all, I have 2 parents who are just natural networkers and builders of community. So that was
Awesome.
natural for me. My dad in this industry and introduced me to it. I think that's a huge part of it. And I think I enjoy doing that.
Mhm.
I've tried to dedicate time specifically, time and energy to making sure that my networks continue to grow. And it's gotten me all of these opportunities.
That's great.
Absolutely. And I really love what I do. I think we laughed and said, you're not supposed to like your first job, but to be able to start a company and take that plunge, it was important that it was something I really loved, both the work and the industry. So
Nice.
most of what I do is in and around this industry.
Nice. Yeah, I've seen this. Zeke's a product of the industry, and you mentioned your dad, and it's just kind of cool because I see a lot of that just in the industry in and of itself. People grow up around it, they love it, they realize the culture, they meet the people.
Mm-hmm.
I did not grow up in the industry, but I've fallen in love with it because of the people, and it's just neat to see that, especially for females, right? Because you don't see a lot of. You don't think of females as in the industry, but the ones that were raised around it realize it's still a great place. And so you get these operators and plant managers.
We've had more female plant managers on the show than male.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Literally,
saying. It's awesome. It's just
boss.
amazing.
And that's changed.
Isn't that so
I'm
cool?
older than you
I just
guys,
think it's
but
the
I
most
can
amazing
remember
thing. Yeah.
early on in the 90s,
Sure.
there
I
was
love that.
No,
Zero.
There were 0 women
Right.
in operations.
Yeah. So it's really cool to see. Any highlights that you want to share?
Yeah, talk about. I want to see it personal. We talked
Cool
about
stuff.
off show about the kiddos. We're getting close to
Oh,
a big
we
raise,
are,
right?
we
You're getting
are.
close to a big old raise, Tara.
So I have twin girls who are graduating in May
Nice.
from A&M and Baylor. So I'm so proud of them.
Wow.
Really excited.
A&M
about
and
that.
Baylor.
They went separate. Okay,
They did.
I've heard
That
more
was
and more of that
a
with
deal.
twins. I got another buddy whose twin boys went separate schools too. I'm like, I was curious how that
Yeah,
goes.
it was time. It was
Yeah.
it was a good thing. I mean, they probably now value and I'm not going to say cherish, but appreciate each
That's right,
other
right.
a little bit.
I
Right.
definitely
Or-
agree with that. Sure.
And then my son is 24 and he is an EMT and about to go through fire service.
Wow.
So really excited for him.
Proud mama.
I am.
That's so
I
cool.
am. They turned out okay.
I
That's
love
what you
that.
hope.
Can you believe it? I know.
When they're little, you just don't know.
That's right.
Yeah.
Kids are terrible. It's like, yeah, but am I screwing them up? I don't know. We'll see. So
So Tara, for those that want to get involved and they want to reach out,
Mhm.
how do they do that?
The easiest way is ICC at HLSR.com. So Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. So ICC at HLSR.com.
Okay, ICC at HLSR.com. Got it.
HLSR.
Got it. Yep. Awesome. Fantastic.
That's
So
a lot
what we-
shorter than the title and all the things we just said.
Hundred-
I know.
Right,
I
yeah.
know. It's very
Tara, you on LinkedIn
complicated.
if people want to link up with you and stay up to
Absolutely.
obviously you're doing big
Going
events
to-
and still do conferences all
Yeah.
over the place. So
I
if
do.
you want to go to industry conferences, Tara's the go-to.
That's the
right?
person. Yep.
She's the goat.
I'd love to chat with anybody about this.
Love it. So you did a great job today. We appreciate it. Again, we appreciate your commitment to the industry in and of itself,
To the
and
youth.
then especially to the youth. We know there's a lot of work that goes behind being in these rodeo committees,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of commitment to
It's a
it.
whole
So
lifestyle.
it is.
It's a
Yeah.
whole
It's-
lifestyle.
I know people literally are like, all right, man, it's February. I'll see you in
April.
April.
That's right.
I mean,
That's
they're
how
right.
it
out,
is.
and you're like, all right,
Serious
well, cool.
business.
Yeah, see ya. So glad that we got you at the 1st of February because we probably won't see you till April. Hopefully, we'll see you at one of the competitions.
That's right.
I hope so. I hope you guys can come out.
Awesome. Appreciate you. Thank you very
All
much.
right.
Thank you, Tara.
For our audience, we are so excited to be back for 2026 and kicking off all the great things. And so we appreciate all that you guys do. Continue to stay tuned. Give us feedback. Go to myself, either Jason Lee or Zeke Smith on LinkedIn. Reach out to us. Let us know if you have some great guests, people that we should be bringing on the show, content that you'd love to see, and we'll try to continue to deliver that for you. Again, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week.